And we begin tonight with a Wyoming woman now officially charged in the shooting death of her boyfriend. Her attorney says she was defending herself, but the mother of the man says it's a different story. 13 on Your Side's Nate Belt spoke with her tonight.
Now, Juliet, Takesha Nelson says her son, Quan Winston, should still be alive today. His girlfriend, Sakina Muhammad, claims she acted in self-defense in the shooting, but Nelson doesn't believe that.
I don't think it really set in yet.
Takesha Nelson still can't believe her son, Quan Winston, is gone. Winston's aunt, Lanika Wilson, says there was never any indication his girlfriend would shoot him.
They seemed happy, smiling, sitting on each other's laps, hugged up.
On Wednesday, court documents revealed that Sakina Muhammad was charged in the homicide of Winston. Her lawyer, Anthony Green, says she acted in self-defense because of a history of domestic abuse.
This has been reported to the police over a long period of time about the abuse that she was suffering from this individual, okay? And nothing was done. Charges would be brought, they'd slap him on the wrist, and then they'd let him go.
But Nelson alleges it was Muhammad who abused her son.
Cuts, scars, scrapes. I've seen my son with a lot of bite marks, scratches, his hand, because he getting hit stuff.
Now, Nelson acknowledged that her son has previously been charged with domestic violence, but she alleges that Muhammad exaggerated the truth. We reached out to the Kent County Prosecutor's Office, which couldn't comment on the pending case. The couple's 11-month-old daughter is with Muhammad's mother tonight. Juliet.
This is the true story of a young couple with a history of domestic violence that tragically spiraled out of control. The turbulent relationship coming to a violent end with one of them being shot dead. Wyoming, Michigan, March 22nd. Their final clash occurred around 10 p.m. at night on Southwest Taft Avenue. 22-year-old Sakina Muhammad and 27-year-old Quan Andre Winston Jr. were at the apartment complex where Muhammad lived and where they once resided together. The sound of gunfire rang out, and the life of Quan Andre Winston Jr. had abruptly ended after being fatally wounded. He was found at the bottom of the stairwell of the apartment building, slumped against the wall, deceased, with a gunshot wound to his chest and a gunshot wound to his arm. The circumstances surrounding Winston Jr.'s demise was rooted in the tumultuous relationship he had with his girlfriend, Sakina Muhammad, punctuated by a history of domestic violence and legal entanglements. Winston Jr. was legally barred from being at the residence, however he was there that night. Neighbors said they could hear Winston begging for his life and begging Muhammad to let him leave before she shot and killed him. The exact words neighbors reported as hearing him say twice was, "Please, let me leave." It was difficult for Muhammad to claim self-defense when the person she murdered was trying to get away from her. A witness who knew the couple revealed that she received a text message from Muhammad saying she was ready to kill someone and ended the text with "Lamau, laughing my ass off." Possibly the most damning word spoken by Muhammad is what she said prior to shooting the fatal bullet into his body. Right before the loud boom, the neighbors in the building heard Muhammad yell out the haunting words, "No bro, you're dead. Yo bro, you're going to die." These same neighbors would later testify that the couple was in a toxic relationship, and most often it was Sakina Muhammad that was the aggressor. More incriminating behavior was discovered by authorities as well, such as Sakina Muhammad posting quote-unquote that she was single AF, or single as fuck, on her social media 1 hour before murdering Winston Jr. The relationship was a volatile tapestry woven with nightly arguments, allegations of abuse being hurled back and forth, and restraining orders. Their turbulent bond, punctuated by Winston's impending sentencing for prior offenses against Muhammad, set the stage for a collision of emotions that would culminate in a fatal confrontation. Sakina Muhammad had accused Winston Jr. of choking her before, and that's the same thing she accused him of doing to her on the night she killed him. Witnesses, drawn unwittingly into the drama unfolding in their midst, recounted the chilling sequence of events that unfolded on that fateful night. Sakina Muhammad and her 11-month-old daughter were nowhere to be found when police officers arrived at the scene of the homicide. The police soon had issued a bulletin stating that the mother and daughter were considered missing and endangered. They both were located the next morning. After reviewing the couple's domestic violence case, the prosecution decided to still press charges against Muhammad, stating that just because Winston Jr. was awaiting sentencing in that case doesn't exclude him from being a victim. He was arrested in January of that year, after Muhammad called the police on him for allegedly assaulting her at their apartment. She called 911 several times, telling them that he had assaulted her. She claimed that he had choked her on 2 separate occasions, and she was not able to breathe until she pried his hands from around her neck. She said that she dialed 911 during the incident and Winston Jr. threw her phone out of the window. Court records showed that dispatch records did have the 911 call as being disconnected, and the dispatcher was not able to reach the caller after that. Winston Jr. pleaded no contest on March 2 to a charge of aggravated assault domestic violence, a 1-year misdemeanor, which had been reduced from the more serious charge of assault with intent to commit great bodily harm less than murder or strangulation, which is a 10-year felony. On the same day, he also pleaded no contest to a second charge of aggravated assault domestic violence for a previous incident in which he allegedly choked Muhammad in March 2020. Police said Muhammad legally owned a firearm, and she was a victim of Winston Jr. in an ongoing case of domestic violence, and a previous case as well, but in the end none of these facts mattered enough to the court to prevent a guilty verdict, and a very harsh sentence. The judge sentenced Muhammad to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of Quan Andre Winston Jr. Do you think this was a case of self-defense as claimed by Muhammad's attorneys? Or was this the cold-blooded murder of an innocent man who was trying to escape his killer and his untimely death? Winston Jr.'s family have no doubt that Sakina Muhammad bears all the guilt and responsibility in this tragic situation. His mother spoke to Muhammad, telling her exactly how she feels about her. She said, quote unquote, "You deserve what you deserve. Karma has no expiration date. Nor does karma discriminate. 674 days we've been living with a hole in our hearts." Muhammad spoke through her attorney, stating that while she accepts the jury's decision, she respectfully disagrees with their decision in this case. Muhammad's attorney said Sakina Muhammad will appeal the sentence from the court.